Ladies and gentlemen, the most important thing you must understand about success is that it doesn't come from wishful thinking. Dreams are born in the heart, but they are built with your hands. And what are your hands doing every day? Are they idle, or are they busy building the life you've been envisioning? Is the only bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Every single day you are faced with two choices: to stay comfortable or to push yourself towards growth. And let me tell you, this growth is never comfortable. The path of growth requires you to force yourself into action, even when your mind screams for rest, for delay, for tomorrow. But hear me clearly, tomorrow is not promised, and the actions you avoid today become the regrets of tomorrow. Many people talk about waiting for the right moment, the right mood, or the perfect opportunity to act. But the truth is, if you wait for motivation, you'll never start. Motivation is fleeting. Some days you'll feel like taking on the world, but other days, more days than you'd like, you won't feel like doing anything at all. This is where discipline must take over. Discipline is what gets you out of bed when your body wants more sleep. Discipline is what makes you work when every fiber of your being says, I don't feel like it. Because let me tell you something important: success doesn't care about your feelings. Success only responds to your actions. Break your goals down. Stop overwhelming yourself with the enormity of the mountain and focus on the steps you can take today. Success isn't a giant leap, it's the accumulation of small, consistent actions. Every day you wake up, you are given a new opportunity to take just one more step. And those steps, day by day, will lead you to places you never thought you could reach. But start. Perfection is a lie. Stop waiting for the perfect conditions, for everything to line up just right. Start now, start where you are, and start with what you have. Progress beats perfection every time, because perfection is a form of procrastination disguised as excellence. It's an excuse to delay. Don't fall into that trap. You must hold yourself accountable. No one is coming to force you into action. You are your own motivator, your own boss, your own critic. Take responsibility for your journey. Set a daily standard for yourself and meet it. If necessary, find someone who will hold you accountable, someone who will push you when you don't feel like pushing yourself. Success is not for the lucky, it's for the persistent. Force yourself to take action day by day and watch how the small steps you take today turn into the giant leaps of your tomorrow. Your future self is watching. Will you leave them with a legacy of excuses or a life of achievement? The choice is yours, and the time to act is now. Success is often romanticized as a result of talent, luck, or some magical alignment of circumstances. We look at the lives of those who have achieved great things and imagine they had some secret advantage, a special gift, or were simply in the right place at the right time. However, the truth behind their success is much simpler and in many ways far more accessible. The secret lies not in grand visions, dreams, or talents, but in the simple, often overlooked truth: success is built on action, day by day, moment by moment. Many of us have great intentions. We dream of achieving something remarkable, of living a life filled with purpose and meaning. We make plans and set goals, but how often do those dreams remain just that, dreams? We can have the most well thought out plans, the most detailed goals, and the clearest vision for our future. But none of that will come to life without action. Intention alone is not enough. It is action, consistent, deliberate action, that turns those intentions into reality. Think about it: what separates those who dream from those who achieve? It's not the size of the dream. It's not even necessarily the talent or intelligence behind the dream. The real difference lies in action. The person who achieves something significant is the one who takes steps toward it every single day, even when the path is difficult, even when motivation is low, even when the end seems far away. It's not enough to desire success. You have to be willing to work for it, to commit to the process, to show up each day and put in the effort. This is where many people get stuck. They have the intention, but they struggle to translate that intention into action. They wait for the perfect moment to start, for the stars to align, for the motivation to strike. They think that success requires some monumental effort or a sudden burst of inspiration. But here's the truth: waiting for the right moment is a trap. There is no perfect time to start. Conditions will never be ideal. And if you spend your life waiting for that perfect moment, you will find that it never comes. Action is the only way forward. And the beauty of it is that it doesn't have to be overwhelming or intimidating. Success is not built in a single moment. It is the result of small, consistent actions taken over time. It's not about making giant leaps. It's about making small steps day by day that compound over time to create something extraordinary. Each step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goal. And while those steps may seem insignificant in the moment, over time, they add up to something far greater than the sum of their parts. One of the greatest barriers to action is the belief that we need to feel motivated or inspired before we can begin. But motivation is a fleeting emotion. Some days you'll wake up feeling energized and ready to take on the world. Other days you'll feel tired, unmotivated, and tempted to put off your goals for another day. If you rely on motivation alone to drive your actions, you'll find yourself moving inconsistently, pushing hard when you feel inspired, and stalling when you don't. But success doesn't care about how you feel. It doesn't respond to your emotions, it responds to your actions. The people who achieve great things in life are not the ones who wait for motivation to strike. They are the ones who show up every day, regardless of how they feel. They push through the discomfort, the doubt, the fear, and they take action even when it's difficult. They understand that consistent action is far more valuable than occasional bursts of inspiration. This is why discipline is so important. Discipline is what carries you through when motivation fades. It's the ability to take action day after day, even when you don't feel like it. It's the commitment to do the work, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when progress seems slow. And over time, it's discipline that builds the habits that lead to success. Every small action you take moves you forward. Even when it feels like you're not making progress, every effort, every step is bringing you closer to your goal. And as you take action consistently, you build momentum. That momentum creates a sense of progress, which in turn fuels more action. Before you know it, the small steps you've been taking add up, and you find yourself much further along than you ever thought possible. Action is what separates dreams from reality. No matter how grand your intentions, no matter how detailed your plans, they mean nothing without the action to back them up. Start small. Start where you are, but start. Take that first step and then take another and another. Don't worry about how far you have to go. Focus on the next step in front of you. Day by day, action by action, you will move closer to the life you desire. When we talk about achieving success, most people immediately think of motivation. They imagine that success is something that comes easily to those who are constantly inspired, always fired up, and ready to tackle any challenge. But the truth is, motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the wind. One day you might feel like you're on top of the world, ready to conquer any obstacle in your way. And the next day, that energy is gone, and all you want to do is sit back and take a break. If you rely solely on motivation to achieve your goals, you will find yourself on an emotional roller coaster, constantly starting and stopping, progressing one day and stalling the next. This is why discipline is so critical. Discipline is what fills the gap when motivation fades. It's what keeps you moving forward when everything inside of you wants to quit. And it's what separates those who merely dream of success from those who actually achieve it. Discipline, not motivation, is the bridge between your goals and your achievements. Think of it this way: motivation is a feeling, an emotion. It's fleeting and unpredictable. You can't control when you'll feel motivated, and if you depend on it, you'll only take action when you're in the right mood. But discipline is a choice. It's a decision you make every single day to do what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. Discipline is what gets you out of bed in the morning when all you want to do is sleep in. It's what makes you put in the extra hours of work when everyone else has called it a day. It's the determination to keep going even when the road gets tough, even when progress seems slow, and even when the results you're striving for seem far away. The beauty of discipline is that it doesn't rely on external factors. It doesn't matter if you had a bad day, if you're tired, if things aren't going your way. Discipline is internal. It's a mindset, a decision to show up and put in the work no matter what. And it's this consistency, this commitment to taking action day in and day out that ultimately leads to success. Many people misunderstand discipline. They think it means forcing yourself to be perfect, to never make mistakes, or to always be at your best. But that's not what discipline is about. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about being persistent. It's about showing up every day and giving your best effort, even when your best isn't perfect. It's about understanding that success isn't achieved in one grand moment, but through the accumulation of small, consistent efforts over time. There will be days when you don't feel like working, days when everything seems difficult, when progress feels slow, when the temptation to quit is strong. This is when discipline becomes your greatest ally. Discipline allows you to push through the discomfort, to take action even when you don't feel like it, because you understand that each step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goal. The reason discipline is so powerful is that it creates habits. When you practice discipline consistently, you build the habits that lead to success. Over time, what was once difficult becomes easier. What was once a struggle becomes routine. The more you practice this discipline, the more natural it becomes to take action, even when you're not motivated. It becomes a part of who you are, a part of your daily routine. And it's this routine that keeps you moving forward, even when motivation has left you. There's another key element to discipline, and that's self-respect. Discipline is a form of self-respect because it's about holding yourself to a higher standard. It's about respecting your goals, your dreams, and your potential enough to do what needs to be done, even when it's hard. When you are disciplined, you're telling yourself that your goals are worth the effort, that your dreams are worth the sacrifice. And when you consistently practice discipline, you build confidence in yourself. You prove to yourself that you can be relied upon, that you have the strength and the willpower to achieve what you set out to do. On the flip side, when you lack discipline, you allow yourself to be swayed by your emotions, by external circumstances. You give in to the temptation to quit when things get tough. And over time, this erodes your self-confidence. It becomes easier and easier to make excuses, to rationalize why you didn't take action. And before you know it, your goals slip further and further out of reach. Discipline is what anchors you to your goals. It keeps you steady when the winds of doubt and discouragement blow. It's the internal compass that keeps you on course, even when the path is unclear. And while motivation may spark the initial flame, it's discipline that keeps the fire burning day after day. This is why you must make discipline a priority in your life. You can't rely on motivation alone, because motivation will come and go. But discipline is something you can develop, something you can rely on every single day. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. And the more you'll see the results of your efforts. Success is not a matter of how often you feel motivated. It's a matter of how disciplined you are in taking consistent action. It's the daily discipline, the small, steady steps you take that will ultimately lead you to the success you seek. So make the decision today to embrace discipline. Commit to taking action even when you don't feel like it. And watch as your efforts compound over time to create something truly extraordinary. One of the most common obstacles people face when pursuing their goals is the tendency to wait for the perfect moment. We tell ourselves that we'll start that new project when we have more time, we'll begin working out when we're in better shape, or we'll pursue our dreams when the conditions are just right. But here's the harsh truth: there will never be a perfect moment. Life is full of distractions, challenges, and unforeseen circumstances. If you wait for everything to be perfectly aligned before you take action, you will be waiting forever. The idea that we need perfect conditions to start working toward our goals is a comforting but dangerous illusion. It allows us to justify our inaction and delay the hard work that needs to be done. We convince ourselves that someday, when the timing is just right, we'll be ready to start. But the truth is, someday never comes. There will always be obstacles in your path, always be reasons to delay, always be excuses to not start today. This is why you must take action now, regardless of the circumstances. You have to begin where you are with what you have. The conditions will never be ideal. And if you wait for them to be, you will miss countless opportunities. Success is not about finding the right moment. It's about creating the right moment through action. You don't need everything to be perfect to take the first step. You just need the courage to begin, even when things aren't ideal. When you look at people who have achieved great things, you'll notice that they didn't wait for the perfect moment to start. They didn't wait until they had everything figured out. They took action, even when they weren't ready. They faced the same distractions, challenges, and uncertainties as everyone else, but they didn't let those obstacles stop them. Instead, they moved forward in spite of them. The truth is, you learn as you go. You don't need to have everything planned out before you start. In fact, many of the most successful people began with only a rough idea of where they were headed. The important thing is that they started. They took the first step, and then the second, and then the third. With each step, they gained clarity, confidence, and experience. They learned from their mistakes, adjusted their course, and kept moving forward. If you wait for perfection, you miss out on the most valuable lessons that come from taking action. You miss the opportunity to learn, grow, and improve. Action breeds progress, and progress breeds more action. The more you do, the more you learn, and the more capable you become. You won't have all the answers when you start, but that's okay. What matters is that you begin. The answers will come with time, experience, and persistence. Another reason people wait for the perfect moment is fear. Fear of failure, fear of making mistakes, fear of not being good enough. But fear is always present, no matter how much you plan or prepare. You can't eliminate fear by waiting. You can only overcome it by taking action. The more you act, the less power fear has over you. Each step forward diminishes the hold fear has on your mind. And before you know it, what once seemed terrifying becomes manageable. Action is the antidote to fear. It's easy to be paralyzed by the unknown, to let the fear of failure keep you stuck. But when you take action, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought. You begin to realize that failure is not the end, it's simply a part of the process. Every misstep is a learning opportunity, and every setback is a chance to grow stronger. The only true failure is in not starting at all. Taking action now also builds momentum. Momentum is a powerful force that works in your favor once you get moving. When you take that first step, no matter how small, it creates a ripple effect. That first action leads to the next, and then the next. Before you know it, you've made significant progress. But you can't build momentum if you're standing still waiting for the perfect conditions. You have to start moving, and once you do, the path becomes clearer and the progress becomes tangible. It's also important to recognize that perfection itself is an illusion. No matter how much you plan, things will never go exactly as you expect. Life is unpredictable, and there will always be challenges that arise along the way. But that's part of the journey. The unexpected twists and turns are where the growth happens. When you take action despite imperfect conditions, you develop resilience, adaptability, and problem-solving skills. You become someone who can handle whatever life throws your way. Not because everything is perfect, but because you've learned how to navigate imperfection. So don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't put off your dreams until everything lines up perfectly. The conditions will never be just right, but that's okay. Start now with what you have, where you are. Take that first step and trust that the next step will become clear once you're in motion. Success is not about waiting for the stars to align. It's about aligning your actions with your goals, one step at a time. The journey to success is built on imperfect steps taken consistently over time. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, to face challenges, or to take action before you feel completely ready. The most important thing is that you start. Each step you take brings you closer to your goal. And over time, those small actions add up to something extraordinary. The path to success is not smooth, and it's not perfectly laid out in front of you, but it is paved by your willingness to take action right now today. One of the most powerful realizations you can have is understanding that progress doesn't come from waiting for massive, life-altering changes to happen overnight. Instead, it comes from consistent, small steps taken daily. The idea that transformation occurs in an instant is a myth that holds people back from the true path of growth. Real change, lasting change, is the result of daily discipline, small decisions, and incremental improvements that compound over time. This is why you must embrace the power of small steps and not underestimate their significance. In the pursuit of your goals, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the enormity of what lies ahead. When you think about the ultimate outcome, the distance between where you are now and where you want to be can seem vast and unattainable. This can paralyze you, making it difficult to even start. But here's the truth: you don't have to leap from where you are now to your end goal in one giant move. In fact, most people never make it to the finish line because they think they need to make a massive, sudden change. What you need to do is break it down. Break your big goal into small, manageable steps and focus on making progress one day at a time. Each small step may seem insignificant in isolation, but over time they add up in a profound way. When you commit to taking action daily, even if it feels small, you're building momentum. That momentum compounds and becomes an unstoppable force. Think of it like planting seeds. On the first day, you plant a single seed, and you might not see any immediate results. But if you keep planting seeds each day, if you water them and tend to them consistently, over time, those seeds will grow into a bountiful harvest. The challenge is that many people dismiss small steps because they don't seem impactful in the moment. We live in a world that values instant gratification, where people expect immediate results. If they don't see progress right away, they lose motivation and give up. But real success, the kind that lasts, is rarely achieved overnight. It's built on the foundation of small, steady, deliberate actions taken over a long period of time. The key is to have faith in the process and trust that each step, no matter how small, is moving you forward. One of the reasons people struggle with this concept is because they want to see immediate results. They want the quick fix, the fast solution, the shortcut to success. But success doesn't work that way. It's like trying to lose weight. You can't expect to see a dramatic transformation after one workout or even after 1 week of consistent exercise. But if you commit to working out regularly, to making small changes in your diet, and to improving your habits day by day, the results will come. It might take weeks, months, or even years, but those small daily efforts will lead to lasting change. The same principle applies to any goal, whether it's building a successful business, developing a skill, or improving your health. It's not about doing something huge all at once. It's about doing something small every day. The people who achieve great things are those who are willing to put in the work day after day, even when it feels like nothing is happening. They understand that success is a marathon, not a sprint, and that the race is won by those who keep moving forward, one step at a time. This is why you must embrace the idea of daily progress, no matter how small. When you wake up each morning, ask yourself, what can I do today that will bring me one step closer to my goal? It doesn't have to be a monumental task. It could be as simple as making a phone call, reading a chapter of a book, practicing a skill for 15 minutes, or working on a project for a short period of time. The important thing is that you do something every day, consistently and with purpose. Over time, these small steps will begin to build on each other. You'll start to see progress, and that progress will motivate you to keep going. What once seemed impossible will start to feel within reach. You'll look back after weeks or months of consistent effort and be amazed at how far you've come. But this only happens if you commit to taking action every single day, no matter how slow that action might seem. Another important aspect of taking small steps is that it allows you to avoid burnout. When you try to do too much at once, you risk overwhelming yourself and losing steam. But by breaking your goal into manageable pieces and focusing on one small step at a time, you can sustain your energy and stay motivated for the long haul. You don't have to conquer the mountain in one day. You just need to keep moving forward, step by step. Taking small steps also builds your confidence. Every time you complete a small task, you're reinforcing the belief that you are capable of achieving your goals. Success is built on small victories, and each small step you take is a victory in itself. As you accumulate these victories, your confidence grows and you begin to believe in yourself more and more. This self-belief is critical because it gives you the strength to keep going, even when the journey gets tough. The path to success is not about making a giant leap. It's about taking consistent, small steps in the right direction. Every day is an opportunity to make progress, no matter how small. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for motivation to strike. And don't be discouraged if the progress is slow. Trust the process, stay disciplined, and keep taking action, one step at a time. Before you know it, those small steps will lead to big results. Many people struggle with staying motivated over the long term. It's easy to feel excited and driven when you first set a goal, but that initial enthusiasm tends to fade over time, especially when the results aren't immediate. The key to overcoming this challenge is learning how to focus on the process rather than just the outcome. When you focus solely on the end result, it's easy to get discouraged when you don't see progress right away. However, when you shift your focus to the daily actions, habits, and systems that will lead you to success, you can stay motivated and committed even when the results aren't yet visible. The reality is that most significant achievements take time, and the journey can often feel slow. But just because you can't see immediate results doesn't mean that progress isn't happening. Growth often occurs beneath the surface, invisible at first, but gradually revealing itself over time. This is especially true for personal development, skill acquisition, and long-term goals. When you focus on the process, on the consistent daily actions, you'll eventually see the fruits of your labor, but you have to trust the process and keep going, even when the rewards aren't immediately evident. Focusing on the process also helps to eliminate the pressure of perfectionism. When you're overly fixated on the end goal, it's easy to become paralyzed by the fear of not achieving it perfectly. You start to overanalyze every step, worry about making mistakes, and hesitate action. But when your attention is on the process, on doing the work, showing up every day, and making progress, you can let go of the need for perfection. You begin to understand that the journey is just as important, if not more so, than the destination. By committing to the process, you also create habits that are sustainable. Many people make the mistake of going all in at the beginning, trying to do too much too fast, which leads to burnout. But success is a long game. It's about consistency over time, not short bursts of effort. When you focus on building daily habits that move you closer to your goal, you create a routine that is sustainable for the long term. You don't need to go all out every day, you just need to keep moving forward consistently. This shift in mindset also helps you become more resilient in the face of setbacks. When you are fixated on the outcome, any obstacle or failure can feel like a major blow. It's easy to get discouraged and give up when things don't go as planned. But when you're focused on the process, setbacks become part of the journey. You start to see them as opportunities to learn, to adjust your approach, and to grow. You understand that success isn't about avoiding failure altogether, but about how you respond to it. The process teaches you resilience, adaptability, and perseverance. One of the greatest benefits of focusing on the process is that it allows you to enjoy the journey. When you're solely focused on the end goal, you're constantly living in the future, waiting for that moment when you finally make it. This can lead to frustration and dissatisfaction because you're always chasing something that feels just out of reach. But when you shift your attention to the daily process, you begin to find joy and fulfillment in the small steps along the way. You learn to appreciate the progress you're making, even if it's slow. You take pride in the effort you're putting in and the growth that's happening within you, even before the results become visible. This approach also reinforces the idea that success is not a destination but a lifestyle. It's not something you achieve once and then it's over. It's a way of living, a way of being. When you focus on the process, you're cultivating the habits, mindsets, and disciplines that will not only lead to your current goal, but will serve you in all areas of life. You're becoming the kind of person who consistently takes action, learns from experience, and improves over time. This is far more valuable than any single achievement because it sets you up for long-term success in all areas of your life. Focusing on the process can help you avoid the trap of comparison. When you're solely fixated on the outcome, it's easy to look around and compare your progress to others. You see someone else who seems to be achieving more faster, and you start to feel inadequate or discouraged. But when your attention is on the process, on what you can control, you stop worrying about what others are doing. You focus on your own path, your own growth, and your own progress. You recognize that everyone's journey is different, and the only person you need to compete with is the person you were yesterday. This mindset shift also empowers you to take control of your life. When you focus on the outcome, you're often at the mercy of external circumstances waiting for the right opportunity, the right timing, or the right set of conditions. But when you focus on the process, you're taking control of what you can do today, regardless of the circumstances. You're not waiting for things to be perfect, you're making progress with what you have right now. This sense of agency is incredibly empowering because it puts the responsibility for your success squarely in your own hands. Focusing on the process is about building a foundation for long-term success. It's about understanding that the journey is where the real transformation happens. The daily actions, the small habits, the consistent effort, these are the things that ultimately lead to success. And while the end result is important, It's the process that shapes you into the person capable of achieving it. So commit to the process. Show up every day, do the work, and trust that the results will follow. You may not see progress immediately, but if you stay consistent over time, you will build something truly remarkable. Self-discipline is the cornerstone of success in any area of life. It is the ability to control your impulses, emotions, and desires in order to achieve long-term goals. Without self-discipline, it is nearly impossible to maintain consistent progress because life will inevitably throw challenges, distractions, and temptations your way. It's not enough to be motivated at the beginning of a journey. You need the inner strength to keep going, especially when it gets tough or when motivation wanes. Self-discipline allows you to continue taking action even when you don't feel like it, and that's often the difference between success and failure. One of the reasons why self-discipline is so powerful is that it helps you make decisions that align with your long-term vision rather than being swayed by short-term desires. Every day you are faced with countless choices, many of which involve a trade-off between immediate gratification and long-term benefits. For example, you might be tempted to skip a workout because you're tired, or you might choose to procrastinate on a task because it feels overwhelming. In these moments, it's easy to give in to what feels good right now, but self-discipline is what enables you to push past that and do what needs to be done, even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. Building self-discipline starts with recognizing that it's a skill, not something you either have or don't have. Just like any skill, it can be developed over time with practice and effort. Many people make the mistake of thinking that they need to feel disciplined in order to take action, but it's actually the other way around. You build self-discipline by consistently doing the things you don't necessarily want to do, but know you need to do. Each time you resist the temptation to take the easy way out and choose the path of discipline, instead you strengthen that muscle. Over time, it becomes easier and more natural to make disciplined choices. One of the key aspects of self-discipline is learning how to manage your time and priorities effectively. Many people struggle with self-discipline because they feel overwhelmed by everything they need to do. They try to tackle too much at once, and when they inevitably fall short, they get discouraged and give up. To avoid this, it's important to break down your goals into smaller, manageable tasks and focus on one thing at a time. This allows you to maintain focus and avoid the paralysis that comes from feeling like there's too much to do. When you prioritize your tasks and focus on the most important ones first, you'll find it easier to stay disciplined and make progress. Another critical element of self-discipline is learning how to delay gratification. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with opportunities for instant gratification, whether it's through social media, entertainment, or convenience. It's easy to get distracted by these short-term pleasures, but they often come at the expense of long-term success. Self-discipline is about training yourself to resist these distractions and focus on what truly matters. It's about being willing to sacrifice immediate comfort for the sake of your long-term goals. This doesn't mean that you can't enjoy life or have fun, but it does mean that you need to be intentional about how you spend your time and energy. One of the challenges of self-discipline is that it requires consistency. It's not enough to be disciplined for a day or a week. You need to cultivate discipline as a daily practice. This can be difficult because there will inevitably be days when you don't feel like doing what needs to be done. There will be days when you're tired, stressed, or simply not in the mood. But self-discipline is about showing up, even on those days. It's about creating habits and routines that keep you on track, regardless of how you feel in the moment. Over time, these habits become ingrained, and discipline becomes second nature. Another important aspect of self-discipline is learning how to set boundaries with yourself and others. Many people struggle with discipline because they are constantly pulled in different directions by external demands and distractions. They say yes to too many things, take on too many responsibilities, and end up feeling stretched too thin. To cultivate self-discipline, you need to learn how to set clear boundaries and protect your time and energy. This means being selective about what you commit to and learning how to say no when necessary. It also means setting boundaries with yourself, such as limiting time spent on distractions like social media or television and sticking to a schedule that prioritizes your goals. Self-discipline also involves holding yourself accountable for your actions. It's easy to make excuses or rationalize why you didn't follow through on something. But true discipline requires taking responsibility for your choices. This doesn't mean being harsh or critical of yourself, but it does mean being honest and self-aware. When you slip up or fall short, don't make excuses or blame external circumstances. Instead, reflect on what happened, learn from it, and commit to doing better next time. Accountability is crucial for maintaining discipline because it forces you to confront your own behavior and make adjustments as needed. It's also important to recognize that self-discipline is not about being rigid or inflexible. It's about being intentional and purposeful in your actions, but also adaptable when necessary. There will be times when things don't go according to plan or when you need to adjust your approach. Discipline is not about forcing yourself to stick to a plan at all costs, but about being willing to pivot when needed while still staying true to your overall goals. Flexibility is a key component of self-discipline because it allows you to navigate challenges and setbacks without losing sight of the bigger picture. Self-discipline is about making choices that align with your values and long-term vision. It's about being willing to do the hard work day in and day out, even when it's not fun or glamorous. It's about staying committed to your goals, even when the path is difficult or uncertain. The rewards of self-discipline are immense. It allows you to achieve your goals, build self-confidence, and create a life that is aligned with your true potential. But it requires consistent effort, focus, and determination. When you cultivate self-discipline, you take control of your life and set yourself on a path to lasting success. Accountability is one of the most important principles when it comes to taking action and achieving success. It's the practice of being responsible for your own actions, decisions, and progress. When you hold yourself accountable, you take ownership of your life and your goals, recognizing that no one else is going to achieve them for you. This sense of responsibility is a powerful motivator because it shifts the mindset from being passive or reactive to being proactive and intentional. When you know that you are the one who is ultimately responsible for your success or failure, you become more focused, more driven, and more committed to taking consistent action. One of the key benefits of accountability is that it helps to create clarity and structure in your life. When you are accountable, you set clear goals and define the specific actions that are necessary to achieve them. You establish a roadmap that outlines what needs to be done and when it needs to be done. This structure is essential because it prevents you from getting overwhelmed or distracted by all the other things that compete for your attention. Without accountability, it's easy to drift through life without a clear sense of direction, reacting to whatever comes your way instead of actively working toward your goals. Accountability also helps you stay on track when obstacles arise. No journey toward success is without its challenges, and there will be times when you face setbacks, failures, or moments of doubt.